Hi there and welcome back to the channel. At long last we are not working on the Corolla in this video. Instead we will be focusing on the blue thing right there. As you could probably tell by the sorry state of the engine bay, all of the refuse in the bull bar and all of the sundries that are on this table, today we are doing wiring. Yay! Also, don't mind me, as you can probably tell by the quality of this video, this is my first time shooting using my DSLR, so if my face exits the screen like this or like this, just be patient. I'm still figuring out how to point this thing at me without being able to see the frame on a screen that is currently facing me. Anyhow, you guys probably want to know why I need to do all of this wiring. Well, first of all, I got roasted on the wiring that I did, and for good reason, because after doing some exploratory surgery, it's a mess. This thing was like just about to catch fire. Things would have stopped working. I just wasn't happy with it. And for those of you who have seen the wiring nest that used to be right there, it can only be described as anxiety inducing. So what I'll be doing is I'm going to rewire all of my accessories, my auxiliary lights, my horns, my electric fan, and I'm also going to wire up my brand new Sippy Oscar 7 spotlights, for which I'm very, very excited. I tested them out last night and they are potent. Okay, so the entire basis upon which I'm going to work from, this entire rewiring job is going to center around this little doohickey. I basically just measured and drew up this little relay panel, went over to FTF, they cut it out for me on their plasma cutter, and yeah, there's space for 6 relays. I'm only using 4 right now. I've got space for 2 others. I've got a little 6 fuse box, also space for 2 more things whenever I do add more stuff. Other than that, I just need to do a whole lot of wiring to mount the relay panel right there, mount the fuse box right there to keep all the wiring short, and to have one wire from which all 6 of the relays, in theory all 4 of the relays right now, will get power. One wire going to the battery instead of all of this spaghetti that I had previously, and one communal earth wire that will obviously bolt to the body, chassis, whatever. I still need to find a spot for that, so that all of the relays are earthed together, just to keep everything neat and tidy and easy to diagnose were something to go wrong. Now if I can just get that in there, because I'm quite chuffed because I designed that relay panel to fit into holes that were already pre-drilled in the engine bay from factory, so no need to re-drill anything, and it sits nice and flush and nice and level. So yeah, I guess I better get started. I think I'm going to start by wiring up the power inputs for the relays to the fuse box, mounting the fuse box so that I at least have something to start with. Let's get cracking. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how things are going. I've got the live wire made, goes round, loops around here, goes back up around into right there, and then these white wires are the grounds that come from the relays. So I'm going to make a communal ground so that all the relays ground at the same spot. And what better place than right there. This used to be an old fuel line. I've gone and traced it, and it goes down round the firewall, over the gearbox, under the vehicle, and that pipe that's hanging right there, that's to where it goes. It's not connected, so I can delete that and have a nice ground. So I've got all the communal wiring sorted. Here's the live wire in its harness. There's the grounds. I've removed an old fuel line that ended up being connected to nothing, and I'm going to use where that used to mount in the engine bay as the communal ground, because it's very close to the relays, and the shorter the wires the better. Now comes the actual tricky part, because before I do anything, finalize anything at all, I need to route the wiring that goes to the switches and obviously the power sources that go to the actual appliances. So That's going to be fun. I think I'm going to mock everything up with masking tape because it's cheap, it's easy, it's quick. And every time I finalize everything, do the soldering immediately, I wind up making a mistake, having to take everything apart and doing it again. So, before you solder, crimp, finalize anything, or even get the wires the right length, cut them to length, just make sure everything's together, everything works. Finalize your routing, make sure everything is connected properly with some masking tape. Obviously you can't test the circuit with the masking tape, but this will help you as a sort of a first step before you actually test your work. All the wiring on the relays sides are done, so all of the wires coming out of the relays are going where they need to be going. Now what I need to do is I need to make new... I tripped over my stool. I need to make new ground harnesses for the spotlights, new ground harnesses for the hooters. Need to make a new ground wire for the fan. I need to make a new harness for the fan switch. I've got the wires for the new sibbies that are going to go on the roll bar. That's fed through, that's going all the way back around there into the fender, over the fender liner, and then one wire is going into the cab, one wire is going under the cab. The wire for the switch going into the cab, the wire to actually power the sibbies are going under the cab, just so that I don't have too many wires strewn about the cab, because as you can see, this is an anxiety-inducing amount of red wires. Holy shit, this is a lot. Like, before you ask, I don't know what that noise was either, but good grief, this is a lot to do. Like, I'm gonna actually have to pay attention. Gosh! Yo! Okay, I need to regain my composure. So, basically, I'm just gonna start from the furthest relay from me and then work myself there. Work myself all the way until I'm done. So I'm starting with the spots, then the hooter, then the fan, doing one thing at a time. Obviously, I'm gonna connect everything preliminarily and sort the routing of the harnesses and sort which harness is which harness, just so that when I need to solder everything, it's going to be easier. Let's get cracking! I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I'm overthinking things, so the hyperlapse is just going to be a lot of me working for 5 seconds and then just standing and ruminating for 5 minutes and then working for 5 seconds and then 5 minutes me just freezing up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one of those YouTube editing magic fade to blacks, and then once it fades back in, big or small, progress will have happened. So yeah, check you later, I guess. Hi there, it is night. I've made lots and lots of progress. Like I said earlier in the video, I was a bit overwhelmed. There were just too many wires and too many things going on at the same time. So what I did is I compartmentalized. I first made the ground harness, then I made the live harness. Then I did some sorting, just because fun. And in short, all I need to do now with regards to getting the harness sorted is I need to solder up all of the all of the wire extensions that will then go to the switches that control the switching for the relays, that will then trigger the relays, then allowing the stuff to work. We look north and we fuck forth. Things got out of hand. Things got very out of hand. But the harness is done. There you can see relays into the fuse box. I already plumbed in 2 extra accessory wires into the fuse box so that if I ever install 2 extra I am very tired, excuse me. If I ever want to install any more accessories, there's space and they would be relatively easy to install. There's the ground wire going out. There is the wire. What color is this? Yellow, so that's the switching wire. This is the wire that sends power to all of the accessories. And then here is my favorite part, the live wire. I think it's 9 o'clock-ish. So I'm going to eat, because I haven't eaten yet, and then I am either going to pack up or resume, because tomorrow is the media launch event for Fuel Fest 2024, and obviously I cannot miss that. So I won't be working on this thing tomorrow. I will be continuing with this thing Monday morning, but I will either see you guys a little bit later or a little bit later, but I'll be recording a little bit later. No manners. I'll be recording a little bit later on Monday morning. So everything has gone wrong. Everything has gone wrong. Battery is hooked up again. If this doesn't work right now, I'm not sleeping like I'm going to bed, because I've got the Fuel Fest tomorrow, but I will not be sleeping. Fucking thank goodness. I'm gonna pack up now and go to bed. I'm tired. I am over it, and now I am thrilled to pick this up come Monday morning. Okay, so it is Monday, which means I need to pick up where I left off on what I would like to call Saturday night, but was actually Sunday morning. Very early Sunday morning. So, somewhere in the not too distant future, I am going to redo most of this again. Anyways, I'm going to redo it again, redesign my relay panel as well. So, this is the first iteration of it, so be prepared. I'm definitely not going to redo it now though, because I just, for once, want this thing to be working for long enough for me to actually enjoy it. Go out with some friends, do some bundo bashing, do some wheeling. Bundo bashing. I don't like that word. Anyways, I just want to drive this thing instead of always being busy fixing and modifying it. I just want this thing to get done. So I'm going to tackle that right now, and hopefully this thing should be finished around about lunchtime. Spots are working, they are wired up. I just need to tuck the wires away, do the final insulation. Need to wire up the fan, need to wire up the hooters, and I need to install the new spots, and then this install will be done. I think the most difficult part will be wiring up the fan, because I'm redoing that entirely, because previously it got its power source from the ignition, which meant as soon as you switch the ignition off, the fan switches off, and really the fan should stay on until the thermo switch switches it off. Switches it off. Now, the most difficult part, which is getting the relays working, is behind me. So now it's just basic wiring and tucking everything neat and tidy. Morning! It is tomorrow, and as you can probably tell by the state of my workspace, things went poorly. Okay, so I got the spots working, first time, no issues, it was good, it was well. Then I had some grievances getting the fan to work, but after some time I got it working, it was good, it was well. And then the horns happened. The horns kept me busy for the better part of 8 hours. I nearly ripped out everything and started from scratch. I googled, I consulted professionals, the horns were winning, is what I'm trying to say. And then last night, around about 10:30, I finally found a diagram, a wiring diagram, on the Google that told me exactly what I needed to do. The reason the horns had me so confused is because whenever you wire anything up, basically, with a relay, your pin number 85 is your constant ground, and your pin number 86 is your signal, which will then be a positive switch. Well, when you wire up your horns and you use your OEM horn switch that's in the OEM harness, because obviously this thing didn't have the dual tone horns from factory, I installed those later. If you are using your original horn wiring that is in your vehicle's harness, you need to switch 86 and 85. So what will happen then is your 86 will become a constant positive. So it's not a ground anymore. Wait, no. Okay, let's retry that. Your 85 will become a constant positive 12 volt source, and then your 86 will be a negative switching signal to then trigger the relay. And that had me up in arms for an entire day, and all I had to do was switch 2 wires. But I figured it out, and now everything is working at long last, and now I can actually start tidying up the wiring harness, put the battery back, and put everything back together again. But things got a bit messy last night, so I think before I continue with the work, it would be good practice to just do some housekeeping. And the housekeeping is finally done. I figured I won't bore y'all with having you guys watch me how I tidied up all of this, but this is basically how the harness is going to be. The engine bay does look like a bit of a power station now, but it is reliable, everything works, and well, currently that's the best I'm gonna get. And these 2 wires right here are for the spots. One is the high current 12 volt positive, the other one is the switch signal. Switch signal obviously going to the switch. I just need to find a 12 volt constant for the switch, and then obviously the high current is going back to the spots, and then the spots are going to ground somewhere in the back, hopefully on the chassis somewhere, because I feel like I want to put a ground on the chassis, because having the vehicle properly grounded, I've heard at least, helps prevent corrosion, and corrosion prevention is always good. Anywho's, I do apologize for this, but I'm going to end this video right here. It's dragging out a bit longer than I care for it to be dragging out, and I want to make the video for when I install the spots a bit more detailed, a bit nicer, spend a bit more time on it. So I'm going to end this video right here. Stay tuned for the next video. Let me know what you guys want to see more of, what you guys want to see less of, and I'll check you guys in the next video. Cheers.